Hey everybody, welcome to Cardboard Commander. My name is Jerry, and today we're going to learn how to play Trench Raid from Compass Games because we are going to play the YouTubers edition of Trench Raid. So what I've done is we're going to kind of learn this on the fly while we're going. So I've got each person has already been mapped out on the board. So Cardboard Commander, yours truly, is the leader. I do have, officers have there's some attributes right here. That just tells you how many dice you're going to throw. My main attribute is courage, so I get to throw 4 with that and then 3 in every other column. I have a gas mask, a helmet, a pistol, and a compass at my disposal. And my special skill is I speak German. So that will help me in certain situations. So speak German, I get +1 communication. Okay, my NCO is Christoph. Yes, that Christoph. And his special courage is in courage, so he gets 4 dice for any courage rolls. He rolls 3 in everything else, and he's got a gas mask, a helmet, a rifle, and wire cutters. And his special attribute is he's a medic. So he's got medic training. So he gets +1 on certain die rolls. So that's what each card kind of looks like. I'm in the front of the pack. Christoph is going to be in the back, kind of keeping things straight back there. So I will keep all the cards over here because we have to keep track of everybody. Now I have 4 riflemen in the group. And Rifleman number 1 is the famous Stuka Joe. And he has no special attributes, so he throws 3 die. He has a gas mask, a helmet, field dressing, and wire cutters. And Nate from Board Game Bunker is also a rifleman. He's got a rifle, helmet, gas mask, wire cutters, and field dressing. So that's where we're at there. The second riflemen are Rough Swordsman and ID Jester. So they're each, where everybody has a gas mask and a helmet. The riflemen all have rifles, and then Rough has a compass, and ID Jester has wire cutters, and there are no other special attributes. And so Stuka Joe and Nate are right behind me. Then we have Bomber number 1, which is Tony's board life, and then we have Wardrobe. So Tony's skill is he throws with 4 dice, and he's got 2 bags of grenades, a gas mask, a helmet, and a club. And Wardrobe's a carrier. He's got an extra bag of grenades, a club, gas mask, helmet, and field dressing. And his is strength. That's his advantage. So he's got 4 die roll there. So this game's kind of out of the norm for me. It's like a role-playing game, but not, and you'll see that in a little bit. The last bomber and carrier are Killroy was here. Same attributes, same items that they're wearing. And the only thing I've done for Ardwulf is he's got a flask of rum that will help him because we all got to have that one guy who can help us out when we're in serious situations. So that's how the map works out. So there's actually 10 people in each raid. So there's a commander, there's 4 rifle people, and 2 bombers and 2 carriers. So that's kind of like the basic setup of the game. So we have to, initially, we have to roll. So the rule book here is really, really good. So we have to roll, and it tells us, we lay out the game map and quick reference chart, which we've done. Then we place the soldier counters on the board, which we've done. And then we determine the objective for the trench raid, see objective 8. So on a 1 through a 3, it's enemy trenches. On a 4 through a 6, we have to go to no man's land. So we're going to roll. It is a 4, so we have to go to no man's land. And in no man's land, we roll for an objective, and those objectives are all right here. We roll a d6. So we roll 1 for the objective, and it is a 5. Bring back the body of one of your dead officers who fell in no man's land. Valuable documents must not fall into enemy hands. If a wounded event occurs, the officer isn't dead, he's just wounded. He may either be carried back to the trench lines, or the raiding party can just leave him there and bring back the documents. Otherwise, as long as a raiding party is 5 or more hexes away from their starting off point, each time the raiders enter a hex for the first time, roll the D10. On a roll of 10, the body of the officer is found in that hex. The raiding party need only bring back the documents. Okay, so that's all that we've got to do there. So we've got to go, so each time as long as the raiding party is 5 or more hexes away, so once we get up here, then we can start rolling to see if we find them. And then we have to, now here's one of the cool things about this game, is we have to map out the board. So we've picked our equipment, now we map out the board. So we start off in the hex with the flag, and then we have to map the 3 hexes in front of us. Okay, so that means, and on this, well, you can also see it here. So mapping blank hexes in no man's land, we roll on this chart here, and that's where we go. We're always going to go from the top of the board, or from the left of the board to the right of the board. So first one, we roll a 12, and that is barbed wire right out of the gate. So, wow, that's crazy. So right initially, and so barbed wire, you place a barbed wire and you place it 3 hexes from there. So you go like that. And you can't go in a crater. Oh yeah, I guess it can. And then 3 over here. Okay. So this goes right there. 3, so 3 from there. So 3 to 3. So initially what happens if there's barbed wire, so we're going to jump right into things here. So let's make sure that mapping, we didn't mess up anything when we're mapping, because like I said, this is the first time I'm playing this, so I want to make sure that we get this right. Let's see, events, no, that's events, I want mapping. There it is. Barbed wire stretches horizontally across a map. It extends for 3 hexes to the left and to the right of whatever hex is encountered. Branching off the facing opposite the one facing raiding party. If any of these hexes already contains a terrain counter, do not add barbed wire to that hex. Okay, so we don't add barbed wire to any of the crater hexes. So that one there. Okay. All right, so barbed wire blocks the raider's progress until it is cut. The raiders can enter the hex but can't move past it until the wire is either cut or clambered over. Each soldier who is carrying the wire cutters can attempt an average strength cut. So there's 3 types of rolls. There's average, difficult, or very difficult. For average, you just need 1 successful die roll. Any die roll of 5 or 6 is successful. If it's difficult, you need 2, and if it's very difficult, you need 3. And that's where we come into throwing dice. Unless there's an attribute where somebody gets to throw 4, you're throwing 3 dice. If you fail, you get to use some luck to help you with that, and we'll go through that as we get there. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try to, each soldier who's carrying the wire cutters may attempt. Should the wire cutter rolls fail, the raiders may remain in the hex. But so all we need is 1. If the raiders don't have wire cutters, so let's make sure. Each soldier who is carrying wire cutters can attempt an average strength action. Should the wire cutting rolls fail, the raiders may, okay, so we get to, so average strength. So the first thing we're going to do is, I'm pretty sure that Stuka has wire cutters. He does. So he's going to roll. So he gets 3 dice because of his, and so we roll 3 dice. And he gets 1 success, so he cuts the wire. So we're good there. And then we move forward 1 hex. Okay. Now we do roll for an event, and that's all right here. So in a barbed wire, we have to roll a 1 to have an event. So we roll. There is no event. So now we map these 3 hexes again, left to right. So we're going to roll first. A 7 is open ground. A 5 is open ground. And an 8 is open ground. So now we have, oh, we didn't roll, we don't need to roll for that, open ground, so we only need 2 rolls, so open ground. So now what we're going to do, and it depends on what you get. So to roll for an event in open ground is a 1 through a 3. A small crater, same way, 1 through a 3. But there's bad things can happen to you out in the open. So we're going to go into this small crater, and we're going to roll for an event. So again, a 1 through a 3, there's an event, no event. So now we have to map these 2 hexes. So we're going to map that. So a 10 is a shattered forest. And then right above there is a open ground. So we're going to go ahead and go into the open forest. Go into the shattered forest. Shattered forest is a 1 or a 2 for an event. No event. Now we have to map here, and that's it. So just 1 area to map. A 10, that is more shattered forest. So we're going to go into the shattered forest again because it's less of a chance to have an event. And we're going to roll for an event. No event. So now we have to roll 1 mapping roll for right there. 6, that's open ground. We're going to go ahead and go into the small shell hole. That is a small crater, is a 1 to 3 as well. No. So now we have to go 5 hexes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have to get up to this hex row before we can start looking for our officer. So we have to map in these 2 hexes here. So again, left to right. An 11 is shattered forest. And an 8 is open ground. So shattered forest. And then open ground. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and go into the shattered forest again. And again, a roll of 1 or a 2 for an event. So we do have an event. So our first event occurs, and that event is, so we leave that there. So the events are over here. We rolled a 20-sided die. 19, waterlogged ground. So with waterlogged ground, so this really nice player aid breaks down each of those. So a previous rainfall has turned the ground into a slippery morass of mud. Soldiers may slip in the mud and injure themselves on sharp debris laying on the ground. Each soldier must make an average strength roll to not slip. Failure means the soldier slips in the mud and either takes a light wound or loses 1 piece of equipment. On a botch, the soldier disappears into quicksand like mud and drowns. No attempt to pull him free can be made. If there are prisoners with the raiding party, each prisoner must attempt a strength roll. On a failed roll, the prisoner disappears into the mud. So now, a couple things. When you go to make a roll, so again, that they just need to make average strength roll to not slip. So that would be 3 dice for most of them. And then so here's what botched means. So events will often injure one or more soldiers in action. Events will often require one or more soldiers to attempt an action not panic in a tense situation. So events will often require one or more soldiers to attempt an action. Example, dive for cover, carry a wounded comrade, not panic in a tense situation, intimidate enemy soldiers into surrendering, shoot a rifle, fight with a club or bayonet, throw a grenade. When this is required, each soldier attempts the action roll, a number of d6 equal to the stat appropriate for that action. Each die is counted separately. Each 5 or 6 is a success. Actions have difficulty, so we talked about that. When a soldier is wounded, he becomes less effective. Botches. If none of the regular dice rolls produce a success, or if a soldier has 0 dice in his stat, roll the botch die. If the botch die rolls a 1, the result is a botch instead of just a failure, and the worst possible result will occur. The event will give details of what happens next. Luck rolls may not be used to re-roll the botch die. So botch die, and then luck rolls. Luck represents the number of re-rolls that can be used to possibly save the soldier from failure when performing an action. Each point of luck requires a re-roll of 1 or more dice. So we'll go into that. So the waterlogged is each soldier must make an average strength roll to not slip. So we're going to start with myself. My strength is 3 dice, so I need to roll a 5 or a 6 with one of the 3 dice. And of course, I don't. So that's a botched roll, right? If none of the regular dice produces a success, or if a soldier has 0, roll the botched die. If the botched die rolls a 1, the result is a botch, and the worst thing happens. So with luck, after rolling to perform an action, a player may, if desired, spend a luck point to re-roll that did not roll a success. Luck points to luck. Oh, so you have to have, so you can't re-roll this. Okay, so now I roll a botch die. If I roll a 1, I die in quicksand. No, I did not do that. So now I did not die in that, but I would have to take a light wound or lose 1 piece of equipment if I don't want to re-roll and try it again. You know what? I'm just going to say I lost my compass. I dropped my compass because we're only going out 5, so we're going to, hopefully that doesn't need to come into play. So we're going to lose my compass. So the next person in line is Stuka Joe. So Stuka's going to roll. He botches. So again, we hope he doesn't roll a 1. He doesn't. So Stuka Joe has in his possession, Stuka has field dressing, wire cutters, helmet, so he can't afford to lose anything. So he's going to use a luck, and he's going to re-roll. So mark down a luck on there. He's going to re-roll. He just needs 1, 5, or 6, so he gets that, so he's good. So Nate is going to be next from Board Game Bunker. He's good. So then we're going to roll for Rough Swordsman. He botches, or he has possible botch, so we roll. Oh, Rough Swordsman. Oh my gosh. So Rough On a botch, the soldier disappears into the quicksand-like mud and drowns. No attempts to pull him free can be made. So rough swordsman dies in quicksand, in the mud, and nobody can help him. We all stand there and watch him as he goes under. So for rough swordsman, that's a rough day, and he is KIA. Jester comes up next. He's fine. Then we've got Tony's board life. He's really fine. Then we've got Killroy. He misses. So we roll for a botch. He doesn't. He's going to use a luck. You know what? He's not going to use a luck. He's going to lose one of his bag of grenades. We're not going to trenches, so he's not going to need that. So he loses a bag of grenades. Then we've got Wardrobe. He's good. And then we've got Ardwulf. He's good. And then Christoph in the back. He's good. So unfortunately, Rough Swordsman is the only one to go down. I lost my compass, but Rough Swordsman goes down. And so he is Rifleman number 3. So he goes down. He's KIA. And everybody moves up. So that's a horrible start for the group. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So starting in the next hex, we can start looking for the officer. This officer better be I know he's got important papers, but he better be a good guy. So we're going to have to map right there. A 3 mapping is a ruined building. So we're going to go ahead and go into the building. And we're going to see if our officer is in there. So let's go back to the... So we haven't had a wound event. The officer isn't dead. So otherwise, as long as the raiding party is 5 or more hexes away, each time the raiders enter a hex, they roll a d10. On a 10, the body of the officer is found in that hex. The raiding party need only bring back the documents. So we roll a d... What do you say, a d10? Yeah, roll a d10. Where's my d10? Did I put it down here? Yeah, I guess I did. So we roll the d10, and we 10 right away. So on a 10, the body of the officer is found in that hex. The raiding party need only bring back the documents. So that is awesome. So we have the documents. Now we get to start heading back to our trench line. So we are going to... Okay, so let's make sure we're doing this right. Okay, so now we go back. So we're going to go, first thing, we're going to go back into the Shattered Forest. We're going to roll for an encounter. We do have a chance for an encounter. And that encounter is for an enemy dog. So I don't know if that's going to really impact us at all. Enemy dog. A sentry dog from the enemy trenches has blundered onto your no man's land. Unless you can silence it, the dog will alert the enemy on his barking. There are 2 options for silencing the dog. A soldier may attempt a difficult command action to quiet the dog, or a soldier may attempt a fight action. Alternately, if the Ultimately, the soldiers can let the dog go, in which case it just barks. If the soldiers do not silence the dog, the barking may alert the enemy. So we're just going to go ahead and let them alert the enemy because we're so far away that we don't care. And that way we don't have to waste anything there. So I'm going to put, they heard us basically, so I'm going to put that here. It's not going to interplay here. So I'm going to jump into the little shell hole. We're going to roll for an encounter. No encounter in the shell hole. Now we're going to go into the shattered forest. No encounter in the shattered forest. Now we have cut. So this line was cut here. So we are going to go into so we went into there, we're going to go into this shell hole. Oh, we already did that. Now we're going to go into the open ground where the wire was at. So we roll again. There is an encounter or possible encounter. A 7, which is enemy wiring party. Boy, they're awful close to us. A 4-man enemy wiring party is laying barbed wire. Fortunately, they're encumbered by tools. Each soldier must attempt a fight action. On a failure, nothing happens. On a botch, the soldier takes a wound. The event ends either when there have been 4 successful fights or shoot actions. If the raiders are, it's difficult. So a fight or shoot action. And it is an average, so you just need 1. So I will go, so I've got a pistol, so I will fire first. I get one of the raiders. Stuka Joe will fire next. He gets one of the raiders. We go to Nate next. He gets the 3rd raider. And then we go to ID Jester. He gets the 4th raider. So that's what happens when you're that close to our trenches. We fight pretty hard. So they go into, so that is the end of the mission. Now, unfortunately, we lost Rough Swordsman. Let's see if there's anything else that we do at the end of the mission. End of the game. Once the game ends, several matters need to be resolved. Medical aid, we don't have any, we don't need to worry about that. Blinded, men left behind. So that's it. So that is the end of that game. Thank you for watching, guys. Unfortunately, poor Ruff had a rough day. We will not get to replace him. And going forward, we'll be saddened that he's not with us anymore. So if you've seen that I've made a mistake, please let me know. Just down in the comments, if you like this, do you care? Do you want to continue with this? Let me know. But otherwise, until next time, everybody, be safe, be kind, happy wargaming.